All righty. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining today's presentation on volunteer opportunities with Burlington Green in 2025. My name is Sue Alexness, and I'm the manager of volunteers, fundraising, and community engagement with Burlington Green. So I'd like to start with acknowledging that we're working and doing our activities in the community within the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and to recognize that this land has been the home and traditional territories to Indigenous people since time immemorial. There's a formal land acknowledgement here that is the official acknowledgement and truth and reconciliation statement from Burlington Green, but I like to share something a little more personal. So I can say that I certainly didn't grow up in school learning about Indigenous traditions or much about the history of settlers arriving in North America. And I've been really fortunate to be at Burlington Green for the last 5 years, where I've had some really wonderful opportunities to learn more about the traditions of how traditional Indigenous people interact with the rest of the world. And so I'm really, really grateful for that, and encourage everyone to look at the Truth and Reconciliation action, the report and the recommended actions, and to try to find books and other ways to learn more about that, so that we can have a more meaningful way of honoring those calls to action in the Truth and Reconciliation effort that we need to do together. Thank you. So here's a little information on the Zoom features. So you can see if you move your cursor on your screen, the microphone icon will show up at the bottom. You could also turn on and off your video. You can use the little raise hand icon if you want to ask a question, and then I can call on you. You could also ask questions in the chat. Hopefully I can keep track of everything as we go through our information tonight. All righty. So we have a little video to watch about volunteering with Burlington Green.
The impacts of what we're doing to our planet are all around us. More extreme weather, habitats and wildlife being destroyed, plastics filling our lakes and oceans. I want to make a difference, but it's daunting, and alone it can be hard to figure out what I can do. Volunteering with Burlington Green gives me a place to start.
Making a difference often starts small, people coming together to take a single step. Over time, it grows into a community of friends who share the load and keep each other inspired. Each act is getting us one step closer to finding real solutions and creating a healthier planet for us all.
I just wanted to get involved in my community, meet people, meet others that are passionate about the environment like I am.
Who is a Burlington Green volunteer? It's youth, families, and seniors. It's businesses, newcomers, and longtime residents. It's you.
There's an energy and a quality and a passion for what we're doing, a real sense that we're doing something that's meaningful, and I just like getting my hands dirty.
You could be the busiest person in the world. There's always an opportunity, no matter how small, to contribute to the environment.
I met Burlington Green when I joined a group to help clean up my local park. It was eye-opening, both to see all the waste we produce and to see the role a small group of people can play to make a change now. Since then, I've been a part of so many great BG programs. I've helped sort waste and teach people about lowering their impact. I've worked with others to raise awareness and help shape plans for a greener future.
I've been passionate about the environment my whole life, and I never really knew about any places that really help the environment. But when I found out about Burlington Green, I thought, wow, this is a great place for opportunities, and they have so many great greening events and just so many great opportunities to really connect you with the community and with the environment.
With our team of amazing volunteers, Burlington Green has been able to achieve a lot. We've diverted tons of waste from landfill at events, participated in planting thousands of native trees, shrubs, and plants to strengthen local biodiversity, grown and donated over 6,000 pounds of local organic food, and are building networks of youth and residents to act as local stewards and champions for the environment. But there's still a lot of work to do. Come join us, and together we can continue to make a difference.
I love that video. We really do have a lot of fun with Burlington Green, and we want to welcome everyone. We take diversity, inclusion, and belonging really seriously, and work hard to create an atmosphere and a teamwork approach that that helps to have everyone feel welcome and included, and their important work valued. So our approach to our work kind of falls under sort of a three-pronged approach that we call AAA. So that's awareness, advocacy, and action. So in the awareness area, we're working to raise awareness, help people understand about environmental issues. That has to do with educational programming that we have, outreach that we do in the community, nature walks, the bird webinar that we're going to be offering next Thursday evening. Advocacy is all about speaking up for the environment. So it might be, we have volunteers who help with when there's an election, asking the candidates questions related to the environment so that voters can make informed choices. Sometimes we speak up on issues that are facing the city or other municipalities. We'll do research into issues so that there's reliable knowledge and information available to help inform decisions that are being made. In the area of action, that's about rolling up your sleeves, getting active, and making a difference with things like planting trees, changing how you live or work at home, making adjustments to how you travel, how you get around, that kind of thing. So through awareness, advocacy, and action, Burlington Green works to empower the Burlington community to protect and care for the environment now and for the future. And we invite our volunteers to join us in that mission and help us to achieve it. So here's just a little glimpse of the impact overall that Burlington Green has had, just to give you a sense of kind of what momentum you'll be joining as a volunteer with Burlington Green. So since being founded over 17 years ago, Burlington Green and community members have planted over 78,000 trees, plants, and shrubs. 146,000 community members have participated in our litter cleanup across Burlington. We've helped to make more green 92 festivals. So that's like helping to sort the waste and make sure that festival goers get their waste into the proper containers, right? So that's some of just a little glimpse of the activity that we've been able to achieve. So the main area where anybody in the community can volunteer with Burlington Green is our community cleanup, green up. So this is pretty much a self-directed activity, and we have people all across the community doing this. So this is a great opportunity for community groups, for workplaces, and of course for high school students. So you can just pick a location, pick a day, head out and clean up litter, and let us know where you were, what you collected. If you're in high school and need volunteer hours, we just need a couple photographs of you doing your activity and some of the details about where you were and how many hours, and we can help you get volunteer hours for high school through that. So I don't know if your phone can get that QR code, that's the link to sign up to do the cleanup. And we also have something called the Litter League, which is an opportunity for groups or individuals to raise money while organizing a litter cleanup. So you just, let your friends and family know that you're going to be cleaning up litter, and you've challenged yourself to also raise money for Burlington Green to advance our important work in the community. And we have a fun platform where you can put up your pictures and uh, collect your donations just on your own dedicated page, which is kind of fun. You can even have a competition and set up a team, and people can see, who can get the most gifts or whatever. So that's the Litter League. And our cleanup, green up includes a tree planting that we do every April. So anyone in the community can sign up for our tree planting. It does fill up quickly. There's about 200 spots or so. We usually plant 500 trees, and it can happen they can get planted pretty quickly. So we want to make sure everybody has a chance to plant more than one tree. It's all ages, anyone can come, and of course volunteer hours are available for that as well. So that'll be later in April this year. So that's our cleanup, green up. Clean up the litter, green up the community by planting trees. So those are open to anybody to come and join. Families, small groups. We don't really have space for large groups because we want it to be a true community event. So lots of people to be able to participate. So here's what's coming up just this spring with Burlington Green. And this is just some of the things we're doing. These are the things that are like open to the public to participate in. So the community cleanup happens March to October. It's on now. So anytime you want to head out and do a cleanup or organize one on your street or with your townhouse friends, you can do that. On April 19th, the community is welcome to our Earth Day at the beach, and we will have a litter cleanup included in that. So that's a great opportunity to volunteer helping out with that litter cleanup. And as I mentioned, our green up tree planting in April. We do have also a native plant sale that's on now. There isn't a volunteer opportunity associated with that, but just want to make sure people know that those are available to purchase pollinator-friendly plants that are native to this part of Ontario to help support biodiversity in our area. Pollinators like butterflies need a corridor of appropriate plants to support them. The plants can't be too far apart. So one of the things Burlington Green is encouraging folks to do is to have some native pollinator-friendly plants in their gardens at home or at work, so that that supports the pollinators who are so important to the ecosystem. We have electronic waste drop-offs and repair cafes, and one is coming up in May. And there is a volunteer opportunity associated with that to help us collect waste on the event day, and also groups are invited to do their own mini collections and bring everything along to the event. We're going to have a clothing swap, and we're thinking we'll have some volunteer opportunities associated with that. And there's lots of other things coming up. So that's kind of our broad view of what's happening this spring. Hope you'll join us for many of those things. So when it comes to volunteering specifically, one area that'll be, I'm sure, of interest to many of you on the call is our youth network. So the Burlington Green Youth Network is programming that's geared toward people ages 14 to 24. You don't need to attend a certain number of meetings or go to regular gatherings to be part of the youth network. If you're those ages and you come to one or more Burlington Green events, you're participating in the youth network. So you can see here some of the things that happen. So we have a social media subcommittee. So that's a great volunteer opportunity for folks who are happy to do some independent work on their own, usually on your computer. You'd be creating like graphics for some of our social media posts. You might be doing some research into an issue, writing up like what the post content, like what the words would be that go with the post. If you're handy with making videos or editing videos, you could have a great time putting together some little videos as well. So if you're interested in that, you just need to watch a little orientation video, and we give you links to some key information, and away you go. And Kale, who leads our youth network, will give you some feedback on what you've created and help you to finalize things. So there's some other examples here of activities that the youth network has done. So we had a youth-only habitat restoration project at Royal Botanical Gardens, where we removed honeysuckle plants. You can see those three there holding the plants. We have youth network participants helping with event greening. So they serve as ambassadors, showing people how to sort their waste at festivals and events. There's some sorting of waste by the volunteers. And if you want to, you could be behind the scenes just sorting waste. But mostly folks are not having to touch a lot of waste and just telling people at the events where things go. And then you can see a couple of folks there holding some interesting looking items. That's at our electronic waste collection. So behind them is tons and tons of computers and phones and charging cords and things that the community has contributed. And these are volunteers who are helping to unload cars and sort those items. These are just some examples of what Youth Network participants do. There's also, last year they did a marsh planting project, a count of swans at the beach, and some litter cleanups together. So it's a busy group. And here's, I talked about some of these activities, but they're also open to adults. I'm not saying that that members of our youth network are not adults. People over the age of 24, that's what I mean. So these activities are open to everybody. Some of the participants are with our youth network, others are older, and occasionally there will be younger volunteers as well. So if someone is very mature, under the age of 14, and would like to volunteer, they can do so with a parent or guardian with them. So at our tree planting event, I talked earlier about the community just coming and participating in that and getting those trees planted. There's also an opportunity to be a volunteer supporting that event. So we have like we call them the support crew. So they come early, like usually around 8 a.m. and I get the trees placed. They might help with moving some dirt or mulch, carrying the trees, welcoming the community. Event greening ambassadors there in the middle. I talked about that. One of our big days for that is Canada Day. We need a lot of volunteers. So Canada Day at Spencer Smith Park, there's probably 50,000 people who attend that, and our volunteers are helping people sort their waste pretty much all day. So we have 3 shifts, probably have 15, 20 people at each of those shifts. So that's a great day to add up some volunteer hours. And the zero waste drop-off events, which I already talked about. Again, anyone can volunteer for those, typically age 14 or older. There are, it can be a little bit dangerous with cars driving through. People do arrive on bikes or walking, whatever, but most folks come in a car loaded with stuff. So it's important to be very aware and safety conscious of that event. There's also a repair cafe that's happening, but our volunteers don't get too involved in that. So hope you're getting lots of questions while I'm doing all this talking. So for volunteering with the activities that I just talked about, all you need to do is stay connected, make sure you're on our list to receive emails with alerts of volunteer opportunities. We'll usually include like a link to a sign-up form. You can also follow our socials and get links to sign up there. And then for most of these activities, for all these activities, we provide training. So you might just show up at the event and get whatever training you need there. Or for something like being an event greening ambassador, we ask you to watch a video. It's about 40 minutes long, and it explains what goes where, how to interact with people, give some little tips. Can be, not everybody has as much experience interacting with the public. So we have some really great tips and tricks on how to do that. So those are the steps for that. And then we have some other roles that we call core volunteers, although of course the volunteers helping with the programs I just mentioned are core to Burlington Green. We wouldn't be able to do our work and have so much impact without volunteers doing those activities. But core volunteers, we kind of mean they're part of kind of the inner workings of Burlington Green, if you will, or they're not like specific to an event. They have sort of a more of an ongoing role. So what that might look like is you could do a co-op with us. You could do a co-op or a student placement of some kind. So students doing co-ops can help with events. So they might have a role with some of the events that I just talked about. They can help with outreach, which is like you can see on the right there, there's two people at a couple of Burlington Green tables. So they would be like welcoming people, doing an activity with them. I'll talk more about outreach in a minute. But you can also do a co-op or placement virtually with us, helping with, could be helping with social media, with administration, or in person. We have more in-person opportunities like in the summer than in the winter time, for instance. So that could be a high school co-op or a post-secondary placement. So here's some of the virtual volunteering that someone who's like one of our core volunteers in a more established position might help with. They might help with administration, social media, as I mentioned, video and graphics. They might be a member of our youth network or help support our youth network. There's volunteers helping with advocacy, as I mentioned earlier, and a lot of that work is also virtual. They're researching an issue, holding meetings on Zoom, writing reports, that kind of thing. And so now outreach. So outreach is about raising awareness, about inspiring action, attracting volunteers, and leading fun educational activities for all ages. So, you know, some of the things that we do so we have our Eco Hub at Burlington Beach. You can see it in the background of that picture there. It's a red brick building that's right next to the playground, if you know the beach. And on the other side is the building with the concessions and the change rooms. So that's where we're located in the spring and summer and fall. And we offer the community drop-in activities so people can come and do a beach cleanup. They can search for nurdles, which you can learn about. They can remove garlic mustard, which is an invasive plant. Do our eco trivia wheel. So outreach volunteers help us to lead those activities, seed ball workshops, button making. And so we'd love to have volunteers to help us with that. So for people who are doing outreach at the beach, they help with setting up the table and the activities. They speak with community members. They provide information to folks. There's some record keeping. There's possibly assisting with eco product sales. And there's all kinds of little things that need to happen around our Eco Hub, like sweeping and raking and litter collection. If you come to our event on April 19th, the Earth Day at the Beach, you'll see some of our outreach volunteers in action. They'll be leading activities and welcoming people to that event. So I hope you'll join us then. I'm just going to wait here a minute if anybody wants to get an image of that QR code for the April 19th Earth Day at the Beach. Would love to have you join us for that day. It should be really fun. We'll have seed ball making, our 200,000 Eco Actions interactive activity where people share the actions that they're taking now to help the environment. And we'll also have our Hope Globe where people can share their hopes for the Earth. Okay, so here's a little bit more about being an outreach volunteer. Mostly it's at the Eco Hub at the Burlington Beach, although sometimes we're at community events as well. So it might be indoors, it might be outdoors. Tends to be kind of weekends and evenings when most public events are happening. Our building is not fully accessible. You need to go up some stairs to get into it. So that's an unfortunate restriction. We don't own the building, we rent from the city, and we're really hoping to change that and get a ramp in there as soon as possible. We use public washrooms, although we also have a dedicated volunteer portable washroom for our outreach volunteers to use, along with staff. Folks wear a BG t-shirt and a button, and we ask our outreach volunteers to be neat and tidy and friendly. And sometimes they help us with taking photographs. So we expect that we'll be needing outreach volunteers on the weekends in May, June, September, and October, and daily in July and August. And we do spend some time training people, so we love folks to make a commitment to be with us for a while. So we have training, we have all kinds of orientation that we share with folks about how to be effective. Oh, sorry about that. How to be effective in and successful as an outreach volunteer. So here's kind of the process. If you're interested in one of these core volunteer roles or a co-op placement, we have an application that folks can fill in. We'll do an interview. For summer co-op placements, we'll probably have a number of folks applying for summer co-op, and we won't necessarily be able to offer a position to everyone. That might be competitive. And then depending on what someone's going to do, if they're going into outreach, they can come and do some shadow shifts where they can come and just see what it's like, get an idea of what happens. And then if they feel like it's a good fit for them, they can do some orientation and training and then start doing outreach. Usually staff or experienced volunteers would be with you for that. And for virtual volunteering or for helping with administration, there'd be like a different set of orientation and training for that. But either way, we work hard to provide ongoing feedback and check-ins both ways to ensure that our volunteers are getting what they need to be successful and feeling included and impactful in their role with Burlington Green. So I wanted to share something fun that we do with volunteers who do any of the activities I've just described. Are invited to march in the Santa Claus parade with Burlington Green in December. We've done this for the last 2 years. It was really, really fun. That picture is from a rainy day Santa Claus parade, but it was clear and cold last year. And at this event, we try to model a greener, more sustainable way of enjoying the holidays. So we don't have a big truck with a float. We walk, or some of us walk with our bikes. Somebody last year had a tree made entirely out of pine cones that they made themselves at home. That was in a little trailer behind their bike. You can see folks here carrying living trees. And we also have some litter pickers and buckets, and we collect some waste along the way. So it's actually a really, really fun day. We'd love to have you join us for that. Now, I don't know if anybody here is part of a business or community group that might want to do something together with volunteering with Burlington Green, but I'll share that you can self-organize volunteering. So there's the community cleanup that I described earlier, where a group would just decide when and where to clean up, sign up on our website, and and away you go. Lots and lots of schools do cleanups with us. So last year we had about 12,000, little more than 12,000 participants in the cleanup, and many of them were at schools. So a school might organize a cleanup day, and a couple hundred students would participate. So that is a big part of the higher numbers of participation that we get in the cleanup. The Litter League, which I described earlier, that could be really fun for a workplace group to do some additional fundraising and challenge themselves to do that to help Burlington Green. And the Electronic Waste Collection Day is a fantastic opportunity for a club, a school, a church or faith group, a workplace to collect electronic waste. It's a big help to everybody because lots of people know, hopefully everybody knows that you don't want to put in the garbage to go to landfill anything like, that has a computer circuit board or, anything electronic, because there's components in there that are toxic. You don't want those to get into the ecosystem, and they can also be repurposed and recycled for use in new products. So that would reduce the amount of mining that we need to do for those elements. So we invite groups to do their own little mini collections of electronics, and then they don't have to organize with a partner to collect the items, go through the paperwork. They can just bring it to our event. So that's a fantastic group volunteer activity that makes a difference, helps everybody out because they get that stuff out of their homes and offices, and it's part of the circular economy, and helps to raise some money for Burlington Green and keep those toxic materials out of landfill, which is fantastic. People can also borrow our Eco Actions display. So you can see there in the middle some people standing with a kind of a poster, and I think you can see there's little green dots on there. So those are dots that a group of seniors in Aldershot at their weekly luncheon added to that chart to show what they're doing right now to help the environment. So some of them are reusing containers. Some of them are air drying their laundry. Some of them are sourcing local food. So there's lots and lots of examples of things that we're already doing that are helping the environment, and we want to celebrate that and inspire each other by sharing those eco actions that we're taking. So groups can borrow this from us and have it on site, for a week, and have everybody share and get motivated that way as well. And then we also have facilitated team volunteer and educational experiences. So these are things where staff from Burlington Green or experienced volunteers will be leading an activity and sort of facilitating an educational or volunteer experience. So we lead beach cleanups. It's really fun experience. You can see a group here that's been learning about plastic pollution at the beach and the ecosystem there, some of the endangered species that are there, and they've been out or they're getting ready to head out and clean up some litter. We have a limited number of beach grass planting opportunities. Corporate groups or other groups can come and be event greening ambassadors as a group. We had a lovely group from a local faith community last year on Canada Day to come and help us and provide 10 or 11 folks for one of our shifts at Canada Day, which was fantastic. Groups can remove garlic mustard at the beach or participate in other kinds of invasive plant removals, help us to assemble some of our supplies for eco activities with the community. And we have some offerings that are just educational, not volunteering. So just we have a seed ball making workshop that's really fun and provides some education around the importance of pollinators, and we talk about invasive plant species and native plant species, and we also have a Live Green presentation and our 200,000 Eco Actions display. So these are things that are available to businesses and all different kinds of community groups and schools. And I will say there is limited availability, and for some of these things there may be a fee or conditions that apply, or we may request a donation. All right, how are we doing for time? Okay, I have another little short video to show you. We're just about done. And it's taking its time. Oh, there we go.
Dear friends, we see you. We're loving that. We're catching your vibe. We've been observing all the little moments, and we can feel you're seeing more of us. While we've made some great strides, we're being called to keep striving, in whatever way those eco endeavors look for you and yours. Thank you to the local warriors and the eco-minded community that band together for change. Thank you to the ones curiously exploring new perspectives and resources, the ones who playfully wonder and plant seeds for a beautiful tomorrow. You didn't know you had it in you, did you? Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our currency is more than the money we spend. It's the time we spend with loved ones, the precious care we infuse into our life. and the kindness and compassion we exude. So wherever you are, we want to take a moment to salute you, to acknowledge how far you've come and encourage you to keep growing. Because simply put, we won't be able to do this without you.
Okay, so that's it for my presentation. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and would love to know. Looks like people had to leave. That's fine. I invite you to turn your cameras back on, and if you would like to just unmute and share, that's fine. Or we can do hands up. I'll just add that watching that video at the end, I just feel so grateful that all of you are here, that you care about the environment, that you want to help find a way to help make Burlington more green and sustainable, and be part of the solution and moving forward. So okay, let's see. So while people are getting ready to unmute or turn on your camera, I'm gonna stop the recording.